What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jerome, and I am coming to you tonight with a review for Love and Hip Hop Miami season number 2, episode number 7. So, without further ado, we are just gonna go ahead and jump into the video. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the stuff that I'm kind of tired of talking about at this point when it comes to Miami Love and Hip Hop, and that's gonna be Trick and Joy. So we see Joy. Joy is going to meet with her business attorney because Joy has her wig line that she does, and she lets us know that she had a lease for a place that she was leasing from, and they let her out of her lease. So once she meets with her business attorney, her attorney is telling her that it's kind of hard for her to find anything for Joy because of Joy's credit score. So she further trickled it down to let her know what that meant. So what it is Joy's business credit score is tied to her personal credit score, which is also tied to her marital credit score with Trick Daddy. And Trick Daddy has some debt that he's accumulated over the years. So that puts a damper on Joy's business because anything that Joy brings into the because technically they're still married. So anything that she brings into the marriage, she would owe to Trick's debt. And then vice versa, she would also owe Trick anything that she earns. And also she had her brother with her. So her brother told his story because he was in a wheelchair, and she was like, he got shot 8 times when he was at a traffic light. And I'm like, fuck, like we shoot niggas at traffic lights. Like I'm like, was he bothering somebody? Did he have a beef with somebody? Like that doesn't condone it, but like, damn, what the fuck? Y'all just pull up on the side of a motherfucker and just go pat, 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 pat. Just shooting motherfuckers like, okay. All right, so next we got Joy in this whole high-priced ass car wash that she got. So we see Pleasure P. He shows up. He give her some money, I guess. Then, Chaotic show up, being his goofy, flirty self with the girl. Talking about, y'all want to wash me? No, we don't want to wash you, but you can run your ass through that car wash. Wash your hair. Wash everything that owns you. Please and thank you. So, why they doing that? We see Trick. Trick pulls up behind Chaotic. So then Trick gets out, and, Chaotic is talking to Trick about doing some music with him because he's talking about he did some music with, Ratatouille, Stuart Little, the rat face motherfucker. And, Trick is like, cool. So then, Trick pulls out some, money out of his pocket, which was $40, and Joy's like, $40 fucking dollars. I'm like, Joy, that's about how much money you would make at an actual fucking car wash. Take that 40 and run. Go buy you something to eat. Go do whatever you can do with it. Like, run. Take that money. And then, Trick's whole thing is he gives Joy money, and Joy should have had money saved up to get this divorce. And I'm just like, God, like, I'm so sick of hearing and talking about Trick, Joy, and this divorce. We have been on this divorce for now 2 seasons with these two. There was a whole storyline last season, and that is going to be a whole storyline this season. Like, I'm over Trick and Joy with the motherfucking divorce. Will y'all motherfuckers say y'all will y'all, go to a divorce attorney and sign the fucking paperwork, or will y'all just stay married to each other? Like, pick one so this can stop being a storyline going into season motherfucking 3. God, I can't stand. I'm so over talking about this shit. So then, they get into it with one another. Joy talking about how cheap Trick is. First of all, Joy, like, last week you were talking about this car wash, talking about, $200 to $300. Who the fuck gonna pay $200 to $300 for a motherfucking car wash? Unless your ass is butt ass naked, it ain't gonna happen. Just saying. But, so once Trick leaves, Trina shows up. And also, I forgot to mention that Jbsayzwhat was there as well. Sister! Like, girl, if you don't stop with that sister shit, it gets on my motherfucking nerves. And I'm talking about Jbsayzwhat in just a little bit, because I want to go a little bit deep into Jbsayzwhat. So, Trina shows up, and, she's talking to Joy and sister. What's her name? Jbsayzwhat. So earlier in the episode, which I'm going to move into that in just a second, Trina and Jesse, they had a conversation where Jesse revealed some stuff about her. And the title of the episode, which is titled Me Too. So, Trina, she met with Tarana Burke of the Me Too movement, which I'm going to talk about that in a little bit too. Tarana Burke is in Miami. She's having an event and she wants Jesse to come. So Jesse says, cool. So then, Trina starts talking to Joy about, what's going on with her and Trick and his, divorce. And, she's just like, I don't have the money to do it and Trick don't want to give it to me. And then Trina's like, well, why come you didn't just ask me for the money? And Joy is like, I don't want to ask you for the money because you got so much stuff going on with you right now. But then we see Trina, she has an envelope in her hand and she gives it to Joy and tell her, you know what, call the attorney, get this divorce taken care of. I hope that was real money in that envelope. I hope that wasn't just that paper money like Soulja Boy had in it, when he was stunning on social media. Like, I hope that's actual money for that girl to get this motherfucking divorce. Because I'm so over these two talking about this divorce. Can we be done with this shit once and for all? Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about is Amada. So we saw Amada. She was at a radio station. She was doing an interview. She was promoting her new song. I don't know what song she was promoting because Insecure had been out by that time. It might have been a song that I had been listening to for the last few weeks on my Apple Music. So it could have been that. I have to think about what the name of that damn song is. But like I said, she was promoting her song. And then once she finishes the interview, JoJo shows up. And JoJo is talking about the whole incident that happened with Shay Francine Frensky Bucky Johnson. Got it. So my whole thing with JoJo is really buck for a person who when it comes down to it, you can argue with Shay, you can argue with Helga Pataki, you can argue with all of them, but you don't do shit to them until security comes they motherfucking ass in there, and then you throw a motherfucking drink at them. Like, JoJo is full of shit. And Amada wants to know what's going on between JoJo and Pleasure P. So JoJo tells her that she and P, they not a couple anymore. So then JoJo starts to cry because of the whole stuff that she's like she has the horrible choices in men. And she's talking about her daddy, how that was an abusive situation. And Amara was like, well, what, I was in an abusive situation once before, and her mama took her out of it. So then Amara says, you know what, me and you, we need to get out and need to go do something and have fun with each other. So she says, Gunplay, he's having this event coming up. So, why don't me and you go there? Because his girl's going to be there. So let's, show up together. I'm like, oh, shit. The fuck shit. All right, so then we see, Gunplay's album release party. So we first see Trick there. He shows up, and then he sees Trina and he sees Joy. Why does Trina's hair look like a fucking flamingo, a colorful ass flamingo? But it didn't look bad on her, but that color, it's just like, god damn, there's too many colors in that shit. So, like I said, Trick saw Trina and Joy, and Trick was not happy, not one bit. He talking about they angry, and I'm like, but they talking to you calmly. You the one that's doing the motherfucking fool. And then Trick and Joy once again talk about this divorce. I'm like, oh, please stop talking about this divorce. Like, I'm so over it. I'm tired of talking about that shit. But Trick is like, you know what? I'm gonna leave. Y'all tell Gunplay I came here to support him. So then we see Gunplay. He on stage. He performing. Kiara out there. She in the crowd. She know the music. So then, he finishes up the performance. So, we see Joy. She goes up to talk to Kiara and Meowth too. And, she's talking about this car wash that she's having. And I'm like, whatever. So then Amada and JoJo shows up. So Amada, she goes up to talk to, she speaks to fucking Kiara. Kiara told her, fuck you. I said, well, damn. Tell the bitch how you really feel. Fuck you. Oh, that was funny as fuck to me. So then, Amada says, you know what came in? You have a conversation to the side. And she said, cool. And I'm so happy that JoJo, Miss Piggy, Angry Bird said, you know what? Let me go get a drink. Please, bitch, go get a drink. Like I said, JoJo is the type, she can do this. She do this stuff. And then when the security want to come in, then she want to get she want to start trying to nook if you buck. Girl, why are you doing this with security right here? I'm just asking that question. So then, they start talking about Amada being in Gunplay's DMs. And Amada's like, you know what? I went in Gunplay's DMs to try to holler at him. Like, I'm an artist. He's an artist. Did it ever occur to you that I was probably in his DMs trying to, do work with him? And that actually goes back to the season number. What season was that? When somebody, who was it? Oh, I can't remember which season. It was a season when Safari was on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood that, Miss Nikki Baby accused Moniece of trying to get with Safari. But, Moniece was like, I'm an artist. He's an artist. I was in his DMs trying to work with him. So, and I don't get why they keep going that. I don't know why they do that. Just because you see women in the men's DMs who we all know are in the industry, quote unquote. Like, why don't y'all think that some of the girls who y'all know have, sing, rap, do whatever, why don't y'all think that those girls are actually in their DMs just trying to say, hey, can I work with you? I got this track that I'm trying to get you on. Or, I'm trying to, do you have any tracks that you might, can put me on? Like, why does it always have to be that the girls want to fuck him? Because Amara said, you know what, I'm not even attracted to Gunplay like that. So, it's all, you ain't got nothing to worry about with me. But Kiara says, you know what, cool, and they let bygones be bygones. All right, so then let's get into Kiara and her mama and her sister. Man, them are some thick girls. Now, the hair is another story, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to let that go. So, when mama was acting her ass off, like she was reading from that script like, Mona, did I get it right? Did I get it right, Mona? Do I get a cookie? Do I get a cookie? Do I get a gold star? No, I'm gonna stop joking with her mama. But they start talking about Gunplay, and Kiara says that they're not together, but they are friends. And then she's talking about how Gunplay was entertaining other women. And she says she loves him and whatnot. And then her mom and her sister are talking about how he was a street dude. Now I get that you ideally wouldn't want your daughter or your sister with a dude that's necessarily from the streets, but I don't see 100% anything wrong with a street dude. I don't know what they meant by that. Why she kept saying he a street dude. Like, I was confused by that. But it is what it is. So then we see this scene where Kiara is having lunch with Gunplay, her mama, and her sister. She lets us know that the first time Gunplay met her mama and her sister, it didn't go good because he was drunk. And, he apologizes to them about the first time, he met them. And then her mama started schooling that ass, because she's telling him, in order to love Kiara, you got to love yourself first. And I definitely agree with that, because Gunplay last season, his whole thing was he was, I'm boxing my demons. And, like I said, you just gotta, she schooled him. You gotta love yourself before you can even love anybody else. And, she's talking about when Kiara got shot and whatnot. And we're gonna move on. All right, last you guys, we're gonna talk about this Me Too stuff. So we had Jessie. She met up with Trina, and she's telling her about how she was, working with Lim and Big D. I finally got it. So she asked Trina, "Is that like common?" She said, "Yeah." And especially in this industry when it's male dominated, like you gotta have a good relationship with these men, to kind of get the tracks from them and whatnot. So then, Jessie, she tells Trina that, when she was starting out, men would tell her, you just need to write and not try to do music, which I agree with them. And I don't agree with them in the sense that maybe what they were telling her. I'm going to say she might need to write music because singing, it just ain't. When I hear Jessie Woo singing, I don't like it. No offense to Jessie, but I just don't see her as a singer. And, she said that she was not the type of girl, to be sitting out there fucking for tracks. And I respect that. Cool. You're not the type of chick, you have morals and you have morals, you have dignity. and you have self-respect for yourself. I respect that. So then she tells Trina how there was a guy that she knew that was a producer. I think it was a producer. He invited her to a party, her and her friend. So, and I'm guessing her friend was a female. So they go to the party. When they get there, it ain't nothing but dudes there, and they're the only two chicks there. And then she says that, her friend stepped out of the room and left her in there with the dudes. And I'm like, well, bitch, that wasn't a friend. Like, that hoe wasn't your friend if she gonna sit there and leave you, a lone female, in a room with a bunch of niggas. It wasn't your friend. I wouldn't fuck with the bitch. And when the bitch came back, I would have beat that bitch's ass. Like, I would have knocked the fuck out of her motherfucking ass. Like, bitch, you left me here to get raped by this dude? Like, the fuck? Fuck you, hoe. Now, I tweeted this. If we had saw this Jessie coming in to Love and Hip Hop instead of the Jessie that was against Amada, I think Jessie would have been more likable than what she is now. Now, speaking of Jessie and the Amada stuff, last week after the episode, a few days, I think it was like last Thursday or so, we saw an Instagram live where Jessie was going off on the producers because she was filming her green screen, and they kept asking her questions about Amada, and she's like, I don't have no beef with that girl. I don't even know that girl like that. Okay, if you don't have no beef with her and you don't know her that well, then why did you come on this season with that fucking stupid ass storyline? That's why the producers keep asking you them dumbass questions, and you want to get in your fucking feelings because they ask you questions about Amada. You gave them the footage so that they could ask you the questions. You completely came on here and said, fuck your music, I'm gonna have a beef with Amada. Amada is over here doing her music and whatnot. So miss me with the bullshit, Jessie. You signed up for this show. You've heard plenty of people complain about Love and Hip Hop. Monique complains about Love and Hip Hop. Milan Christopher complains about Love and Hip Hop. Jocelyn has complained about Love and Hip Hop. K. Michelle has complained about this show. Everybody has complained about this motherfucking show. So you knew what you signed up for when you got on Love and Hip Hop. If you came on here, you could have at least said, you know what, Mona, I want to at least have some kind of control of my narrative. That they would have gave it to you, but, just say, hey, let me have some kind of control of what my narrative is. But you didn't do that. All right, so then we got Trina. So she's meeting up with Tarana Burke, the founder of the Me Too movement. So Tarana is doing this, I guess this little segment where Tarana talks to people for part of Jada Pinkett Smith's Red Table Talk. So she's having a conversation with Trina. Trina's talking about her career. First of all, what was wrong with Trina's makeup? Like, it was way too light and it was too caked on. I'm like, whoever your makeup artist is, you need to fire that motherfucker. Be honest with you, I really won't listen to that interview that much. I'm so sorry. But what I did catch was, Trina was talking about, the hardest thing for her was when her brother died. And then she said people from the islands, they bring their loved ones in the house for a few days. I'm like, why? Dead bodies, they start to stink after a few days. Like, ugh. So then, Tarana, the one thing that I did gather from that interview that Tarana had with Trina, she asked Trina, how does Trina feel about the the Me Too movement when it pertains to the hip hop community? Trina says she feels like it's silence, which we can clearly agree that is silence in the hip hop, R&B. It's in our community, in the industry, it is definitely silence. Like, let's talk about, and I didn't even review the R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly. If you just watch that alone, you definitely know that it's silenced because, these people, and I'm not gonna say it's the girls, it was the parents, it was the parents, it was the adults. They saw this shit happening, but they wanted to keep the money, keep the influence, everything. They shut a blind eye to all that shit and just let it keep happening. So, I definitely 100% agree with what Trina said. It's silence in the industry. And then, she's talking about how the reason why she has her label is so that, she can, do things her way and, protect her artists at the same time, which cool, I get that. So then lastly, Tarana had this event where she had people together. You know, they were asking how the Me Too movement started, and she said she saw a girl, and you know, she was telling her story, and she was like, "Me too." And you know, she says it's that this is empowerment through empathy, which I definitely agree with that. You know, you have to be able to put yourself in these people's shoes and try to uplift them and empower them. So then in the audience, we see Jessie Woo, and she's crying, and then she tells her story, and she's like, how does she move forward with her life when this person is living a life that she wants? You know, they are Grammy nominated. They're working with some of the artists that she wants to work with. And Tarana tells her that, you know, you won't be free until you stop tying this person to you. And I definitely agree with that. And you know, in this whole thing, I sympathize with Jessie because at 17 years old, I was raped myself. And so I'm gonna kind of move over to what Meow2 said, and I'm actually gonna call her by her name, Chinese Kitty or Nikki. Which one is that? Chinese Kitty? Actually, we're gonna go back to Meow2. Sorry, but you know, whichever one, Chinese Kitty, Nikki. I always get them too confused. I think that was Chinese Kitty. So she was talking about how she went to this party, and she was peer pressured into drinking, and you know, she started to lose control of her body, and then you know, she was raped, and then she was like how the guys threw her out the car, which that is absolutely fucking horrible, to throw a human being out of a fucking car. And you know, she said her dad found her, and when I was raped, I felt the same exact way that she felt. You know, she felt like, you know, she put herself in that position to be raped. And that's exactly what I felt. You know, like I said, I was 17 years old. And, you know, someone that I was a friend, you know, it was a family friend. Well, it was a friend of mine, not a family friend. It was just a friend that I had for a long time. And I just literally, for the longest time, I always thought that I'm like, I should have known better. Like, I shouldn't have put myself in that situation. But when it happened, I kept saying, no, stop. I don't want this to happen. I'm not interested in you like that. I don't even look at you like that. Like, that's not something that I want. And the more I said no, it just kept going and going and going until it finally stopped. And, you know, I went home, I took a shower, and I felt so disgusted with myself, and I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror because I just felt so dirty, so disgusting. Like, I just, you know, the more when I took a bath, you know, I felt myself getting clean, but I just could not get over that feeling. It took me some years to finally just say, you know, it wasn't my fault. There are still some times to this day that I look back on it and I'm like, you know, I could have done stuff differently to prevent that from happening to me. But, you know, I've stopped giving my rapist, you know, the control over me, and I've let it go, you know. So, you know, I'm glad that they did this episode. You know, with Love and Hip Hop and with Black and Crew Chicago, these are two things that I dealt with in my life. Depression and rape. But, you know, that was the episode. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys later.